as something positive. We're negotiating 10 of those prices, but I'm gonna do them all. And I'm gonna make sure that those big drug companies stop robbing you blind. Would have been through the roof. That's a super popular policy. Polls at over 80%. But they work for Big Pharma, so they were never going to do an ad that was going to get them fired from their other clients.
100%.
So Cenk Uygur loses it again over the election loss and deranged Rant. Okay, so basically Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian grow up from the left, and Kamala campaign for working for consulting groups that work with the same corporations that they should be fighting against, and those groups are advising, advising her the wrong way, and Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian called her out for it on the Young Turks for being established. The establishment dim, and this could also be framed as Cenk is still losing it over the loss of the election. So we're going to go ahead and check this takeout with Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian on the Young Turks about how they feel about Kamala Harris's campaign losing it and the election results. So if you enjoyed what I shared in this video and all the content, be sure to smash the like button, share the video, follow across social media, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the notification so that way you're notified of future uploads and updates. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
It turns out that the consulting firms Kamala Harris's campaign hired in order to help her win the election that she actually ended up losing have all sorts of interests that conflict with what the Democratic Party purports to support policy-wise. And recently, the fine reporters over at Sludge investigated where the Harris campaign spent the $1 billion that they raised in just a few short months. And the details here are amazing. So let's examine them. So the Harris campaign's largest vendor, the vendor that they spent the absolute most money on, was the Media Buying and Analytics LLC, which is actually a front company for something called Canal Partners Media Firm. Okay, so Canal Partners does work that directly contradicts or counters Democratic policy objectives, which might explain the fact that it, in my opinion, like if you're promoting a Democrat, or a Democrat has hired you in order to help with the campaign, but you support all sorts of pro-corporate policies that the Democrat is against, I mean, isn't there a conflict of interest? Like, isn't there a possibility that maybe they'll put out some dog crap ads and give you bad advice?
Yeah, well, actually, that's exactly one of the things I wanted to get into, Anna, because that's part of why the Democratic ads suck. Because the people making the ads also work for the corporations that those ads should be attacking in order to do effective populist campaigning. So Trump, I think, is a fake populist, but did a lot of, I'm gonna get the sons of bitches, etc. But the Democrats never say anything like that in their ads, because the people making their ads are the corporate goons, and they have a conflict of interest because they would get fired by their other clients if they made ads that would be effective for the Democrats.
Guys.
Okay, I'm not sure if Cenk Uygur is actually still this way, but I remember seeing Cenk Uygur, as you all know, even back in since 2016, where he criticizes the Democrats and then later on defends the Democrats and support them and then criticize them again. I mean, it seems to me that Cenk Uygur is probably still in a love-hate relationship, but Anna Kasparian, on the other hand, she's actually shown that she's tired of the Democrats' mess. Okay, that's why she became an independent. She doesn't want to be a Republican, but at the same time, she was welcoming in new ideas and new political thoughts and everything. But Cenk Uygur, on the other hand, he's still sticking along political party lines and everything. With Democrats, the way he's criticizing them, but it's like he wants to the far left wing party of the party and stuff, instead of just disassociating with it at all. But the Democrats are not going to change at all, unless even if they have a come to Jesus moment, they're not going to change at all, because this is how they are. This is their platform, and this is how the Democrats are going to stick to. And you can't reason with Democrats when it comes to logic and everything. They always get at you with emotional appeal and everything, where they believe that you got to be the loudest in the room and stuff to be the right one, when in reality, that's not even true at all.
Trump, I don't know if you guys ever saw the YouTube ads that would play with Donald Trump's campaign messaging. It was literally just Trump standing in front of a window, by the way. So he looks dark because he's backlit. And he's just like, yeah, we're trying to raise money for my campaign. If you got a few bucks, like super low production. It was incredible, okay? But anyway, getting back to Kamala Harris's very expensive campaign. So in 2022, let's get back to Canal Partners. Canal Partners worked for a pharmaceutical research and Manufacturers of America, or PhRMA, front group Rare Access Action Project to help it run ads opposing the Biden administration's policy allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices. So that's who they are. And that is the vendor that Kamala Harris's campaign spent the most money on. Media Buying and Analytics LLC, which falls under Canal Partners media firm, has overseen more than $280 million in ad production and placement spending for the Harris campaign, and that total is expected to increase once the FEC disclosures covering the final phase of the campaign are filed. So it's likely the number is much higher than the 280 million. But imagine spending hundreds of millions of dollars of your campaign money on this group, on this vendor, which has all sorts of corporate clients who are very much against the messaging and the policy proposals that Kamala Harris allegedly supports.
So two things about that. Exactly to our point, and what would have been a super effective ad is, and policy is, if Kamala Harris said, I'm gonna negotiate all drug prices. Joe Biden started off something positive. We're negotiating 10 of those prices, but I'm gonna do them all. And I'm gonna make sure that those big drug companies stop robbing you blind. Would have been through the roof. That's a super popular policy. Polls at over 80%. But they work for Big Pharma, so they were never going to do an ad that was going to get them fired from their other clients.
100%.
So hiring these corporate goons is so moronic. That's exactly why I call them corporate Democrats. And you wanna know another client of theirs? Uber. Who else is at Uber? Do you remember? Chief legal officer for Uber's Tony West.
Who's that?
Well, that's the brother-in-law for Kamala Harris, and the person who convinced Kamala Harris, stop talking about price gouging, stop talking about housing, start telling everybody how 90 corporate CEOs are on your side, start embracing the Cheneys, and start embracing big corporations.
It worked out well for her.
So, as I've been saying all along, Kamala Harris lost the election because of Kamala Harris. Okay, it wasn't the voters. It wasn't, Trump. It wasn't, anyone on the left. It wasn't anyone on the right. It was Kamala Harris for not using common sense, not being brave enough to go ahead and expose the truth out there. Okay, and her base loved her. Okay, her base loved her, plain and simple. And you have like people on, social media in the black community, as well as those who are women. They went on ahead, ran to defense of Kamala and stuff. And you know what? They're so gullible because they don't want to listen to logic. And Cenk did share a piece of logic where I didn't even know that, an executive from Uber was the brother-in-law of Kamala. And the crazy part about that is that he listened to him to not to stop go ahead and saying these things and just tell these different lies because she want to keep the family business quote unquote going and everything. She probably want to get her kickback still as well, and she doesn't want to lose because that shows how easily corrupt she is. That shows her how she can easily be convinced and swayed by the corporations and stuff. And that's what people think that people saw within her. That's what they didn't support there. At least they saw the realness in Donald Trump because of the fact that the matter is they see what he says and stuff, but they saw he delivered on policy, and that's why they wanted him back in office.
How'd that work out for you, Kamala Harris? How'd that work out for you, Democratic Party, listening to morons, corrupt people like Tony West, driving the party into a ditch so they can get paid more?
If you enjoyed what we're sharing in this video, go ahead, smash the like button, share this video far and wide across social media. And if you ever did already, enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.